Okay, so now we are going to talk a little bit about recips and setting them up to put some embryos in them. This nice little F1 here is volunteered to be our demonstration. So Josh, can you talk a little bit about the process of setting up a recip for putting in embryos?
Yeah, absolutely. So 208 here came from the University of Wisconsin-River Falls. She's nice and calm. We like our cattle that we're working for recips to be nice and calm, just like our cows that we're using for donors and our other highlands that we have for docility. So we're setting up 208 or any recip just like we're going to set up something synchronized for AI. So we use a 7-day protocol with her. So on day 1, we GnRH and we put a cedar in her. On day 7, we remove the cedar and we lutalize her. And then we put heat patches on her to see when she comes in heat, because they need to show signs of heat, that they've actually come in heat in order to be a viable recip.
Right.
And then after that, 7 days later, is the magic day of when we put the embryos into our recips. And simple as that.
Okay, so Josh, you talked about docility and why it's important that having docile cows is important for recips, but what other factors play a good role into making a nice recip cow?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Holly. So we talk about docility, being super calm, because anything that stresses them out is going to make them not want to have a baby. And in this case, embryos are the highest stress level of getting a pregnancy to stay, right? You know, there's natural, AI, and then embryo. So the next big thing we look at after docility is nutrition.
Right.
And so we feed these cows really well. Mineral program is really important. We feed them a product called Hot Coup, which has hydrolac in it, which also helps these animals keep their body temperature down, because heat kills embryos.
Yep.
So that's really important. So they're on really good grass, best grass that we forages that we can have now, and even through the rest of the year, because this recip right here, she's got a calf on her right now.
Right.
You know, so we use our recips, especially the mamas we really like, over and over. And you can see on her, she's got really good condition for having about a 12-week-old calf on her.
Yeah.
And she has a really nice looking Highland embryo calf on her as well. And so she's kind of a testament. We've got lots of examples like this, but she's a testament of how docile she is. She's keeping good condition. She's feeding a great calf. We're going to put another embryo in her today.
And how many days post-calving do you usually wait before you stick another embryo?
We usually wait about 90 days, because having that calf on the cow is a form of stress.
Right.
And so that allows that cow to recover. It allows that cow to get some of those nutrients that we talk about. We feed amino acids in addition to other things, just to get these cows where they need to be to get and maintain that embryo.
Right. Awesome. And this is a Black Angus Hereford cross that we're using for a recip today, but you can use any breed. So between breeds, what are you looking for structurally in a good recip cow?
Yeah, so structurally, the most important thing for these cows is to be able to first have a calf, right? And the second part is to be able to milk. So this cow's got good hip structure to her. She had her calf unassisted, and you can see, looking at her teats here, she's got really nice teat size. You know, we're not looking for somebody's old cull cows. We don't buy cull cows. We pay premium prices and we buy good replacements. This is actually from AI stock. So we also find that by using AI stock, those cows naturally have a higher tendency for maintaining pregnancies, because AI is a little harder than natural.
Right.
So we pay more money, buy a good recip, it's worth every dollar.
The embryos, we talked about freezing a little bit in the lab, and one thing is with embryos, if they're stored and handled appropriately in liquid nitrogen, they're basically preserved indefinitely. And so what I have here is an embryo that we froze actually last year, and so I have it in a gun warmer to help maintain it at 38 degrees Celsius. So that's basically about body temperature of a cow. So it's loaded up just like you would a semen straw, more or less. We thought a little different way, but we'll give this recipient an epidural like we did the donor, and then I'll transfer the embryo. if she had an estrus and has a CL or that structure that maintains the pregnancy on the correct side, and hopefully we'll have a calf next fall.
And you can tell that she was in heat 7 days ago based off of that estrotech patch.
Yeah, right.
So, Dr. Ashley, you said this cow feels good and she's ready for an embryo. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, on what you're feeling?
So she was set up with a synchronization protocol, and so a week ago she came into a heat. So if we would have bred her, there would be a 7-day-old embryo of her own in here. Right now, since she didn't get AI'd, there's technically an unfertilized egg that should just be in the uterus. So our little embryo here will have a roommate, but that embryo that egg that's unfertilized will just reabsorb into the cow while this embryo makes its new home.
And do you deposit that embryo into the uterus and let it find the horn, or do you go up into a specific horn?
Yep, so the embryo has to go on the same side as where that progesterone producing CL structure is. If you put it on the wrong side, there's only about a 5% chance that it'll make a pregnancy. So the embryo has to go on the side where she ovulated and where that embryo would be living naturally in the cow. So I go through the cervix, into the uterine body, and I'm traveling all the way up the end of that uterine horn. I'm on the right side on this cow, and I'm putting this embryo all the way in the very tip of the horn where a 7-day-old embryo should be living.
So Josh, can you tell us a little bit more about your Recip program and why you like using embryos?
Yeah, so using embryos and using Recips allows us to multiply our breeding program faster because there's only so many Highlands in the world, and there's lots of other commercial breeds, and so using the commercial breeds allows us to get more Highlands faster, as we see Dr. Ashley in the back here checking out this Recip right now. So another F1 cross that we've got here. So there's lots of F1 crosses. They make really good cows. They have really good calves. And it's our way of being able to get more Highlands faster, to get those genetics and kind of push that edge when it comes to using embryo technology.
And you're not necessarily looking for more Highlands, you're looking for higher quality Highlands, breeding the best genetics.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So we're not all about volume and quantity, we're about quality. So the embryos that we're using today are from our top cows, our top donors. So instead of having 100 cows in the field, we might have 20 really good cows that might be able to produce donors. In our case, we actually narrow it down even more. It's kind of like producing semen. Not every bull should produce semen. In fact, like 0.1% of bulls should be collected. It's the same with donor cows. Not every donor cow should be collected. It's really about having those genetics and utilizing those genetics, in our case, with different bulls, so we can start to see what those offspring look like faster with these Recips.
So one of the things that Josh talked about was using recipients, and I think the quality of the recipients is just as important as the condition and quality of your donor, because we are putting the most valuable embryos into these animals. So we really want these cows to be of good condition, good nutritional status. We don't want them just to be a cow that didn't get bred on time or something like that. Having a good quality recipient to carry those really valuable embryos for you is a really key point in a successful embryo transfer program.